All right, so welcome back from the desk below. Man, this is a very special episode right here. This one, I waited personally for a long time, and I learned that in this game that you can't rush greatness. So during the time I was waiting, this was like the Pheromone interview, but I extensively reworked this interview over and over and over. And when he said he got back to me, he was like, "We'll do it this week." I was like, "Oh, okay." So they say time is everything. For today, I have a legendary producer who is the only Wu Elements producer to work on the Enter the Wu Tang, produce three phenomenal Killer Army albums, produce on Only Built for Cuban Links, turntablist for Only Built Enter the Wu Tang 36 Chambers, produce my favorite track of all time, Judgment Day. Oh my God, I love that track. And man, he has incredible work with KILLAH Priest. And lately, I've been bumping the Algorythm. His chemistry with Petey Crak. I need a fourth. I don't want to say a guest right now, but I need a collaboration with him and Petey Crak. Man, without further introduction, man, I have the one and only fourth disciple.
Peace. Thanks for having me, bro. Word up.
Anytime, sir. I believe that your production should be taught to our youth because I noticed with today, there's a renaissance, and this renaissance that we're experiencing, this wasn't the first time we've seen this kind of renaissance. We've seen this renaissance in the 90s, particularly with the Wu. I like to always go back and reference the KILLARMY Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars album, because man, that was like the offshoot of the Wu Tang, and people were always wanting like, yo, is there more from Wu Tang? So I wanted to take it back from you, Forth. I understand that when you started producing, you were a breakdancer before you were a producer.
Right. Yep.
Man, so you
I've
really
always been into music growing up. My father's he's a musician, and my uncles. So I came up around the music heavy. So I always had the music influence around me, and I always was into music young. So I started out playing drums young at a young age. Like 4 or 5 years old. On the drums. Stuff like that. And the breakdancing, that came about. That was just a phase in the early '80s. That's when hip hop was, emerging. And it's fortunate. I come from a small town in Ohio, so I was fortunate. There was some brothers from New York that had moved there. Rest in peace to Hans Yetz. I got to give it up to him. But when I was young, him and his family were from New York, so they were familiar with what breakdancing were already. Because they had moved from New York to Ohio when they were young, but they seen the breakdancing going on before they came. We hadn't yet seen any of that.
Yeah, because it's small town.
We didn't get to see what breaking was until the movie Breaking came out.
Okay, wow.
So hip hop had been around some time before the movie Breaking came out. You see what I'm saying? So the movie Breaking was our introduction to breakdancing, from where I come from. Then later, shortly after that, I got in by the same brother. He introduced me to the movie Wild Style.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. So, what I'm saying? Yeah, I got that experience early on. So yeah, I was into the breakdancing heavy young. I was the windmiller, back spinner,
But see,
turtle walking, and you know what I'm saying?
That's an intricate part within our culture though too that I noticed, because like we won't get to ever experience like breakdancing, the park jams. Like, yeah, we can try to recreate it, but like back then it was a certain time, like you had to hook up the amps of light post and like be home by the lights without. Now it's not really like that because we got the internet now. Not to say it can't never happen again, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like you have to
it's not that organic. It doesn't have that magical feeling like it did when I was young.
Yeah.
I don't even see my children. They're so caught up into their devices.
Yeah.
They're not exercising their creativity, like, you know what I'm saying, and producing magic. So, you know, just recently I had to restrict my children from the devices. You know, I had to take the phones and tablets away. You know what I mean? Like, no, we got all kind of board games here. You got, you know, watch a movie, got books, do something else.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
there was life before the phone. That's what I have to tell people. I'm like, there was life before this little device here. Like,
yeah, like I tried to tell them, we had more fun than y'all. We didn't even have none of this stuff. We had crazy fun. Like, y'all not even living. Y'all not living life. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I fully understand. Because like I like to say, like, if you grew up in the 90s, like you kind of got the best of both worlds because like technology, you know, it was still kind of like getting more advanced. So we still had to go outside and things like that. My only complaint though is the music wasn't accessible as it was today. Cause like I said, I was from a small town too. So we only got like, you know, like the big name CDs, like 36 Chambers or something like that. Like if we found like a KILLARMY cassette, like I remember my cousin had the cassette and the Sons of Man, the Last Shall Be Sold cassette. And he's like, these are so rare, but at the time, right, you don't understand. But as you get older, it's like, wow, like these were gems like upon my childhood. So before you got into producing, everyone has to start out somewhere. What I find very inspired, I paid attention for your career for a long time. So don't be surprised if I know like personal questions. Um, Everybody has to start out somewhere. Now I understand that before you started producing, you started out with a stereo and a turntable, like one turntable.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So like back then, like we could do everything on the like right now we can do everything on a computer. Back then, you actually had to have the equipment. So what was it like recording with a stereo and one turntable? And then how did you get how did you form into Fourth Disciple?
How did I form into Fourth Disciple?
Like how did like the name come into play with that? Because I'm pretty sure like you had other producer names before you became Fourth Disciple.
Actually, no.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow, okay.
I couldn't think of, actually, RZA gave me the name Fourth Disciple. You know,
Oh.
'cause my name is Divine, so D is the fourth letter in the alphabet. So it's
Oh,
simple as that. Yeah, so I'm a divine disciple. You know,
wow. So how did you get into like how did you become like from like the turntable all the way to like the boards and the MPCs? Because that's totally different from a stereo and one turntable.
well, this is the beginning days. Like I said, this is before even our MPC probably wasn't even invented in
Oh
these days.
wow.
Yeah, so I'm older. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about, this is like 83, stuff like that. You know, 82, 83. I'm talking about. You know what I mean? This is when the Fat Boys was out, Jailhouse Rap and uh Houdini, you know what I'm saying? All of that stuff. Uh 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 5 Minutes of Funk, you know what I'm saying? This is back in them days. You know, I'm up late night listening to the hip hop show. This is when I'm young, you know, we had to listen to the hip hop show that came on late night. We at school, so you had to sneak. I had to sneak, listen to the hip hop show, was sneaking with my stereo, you know, got it low. You know, I plugged my headphones in and got the covers over my head, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, just to listen to the hip hop. And you had to record it because that's the only way you got the new music, is when the mix show played the new, you know, or one of your friends or your family members went out of town to, like, you know, one of the major cities or something for the holidays or something like that. And they record the mix show on the radio there, and they bring it back home. And tapes, when people make copies of the tape. And that's how new music would circulate in the community like that, you know. Some people would sell the tapes. You know, you even have people that would actually sell the tapes. So you know, it was see, now all that was all an adventure of it too. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, you know, you know, now everything is just too accessible. So people don't appreciate things.
Looking for it.
Huh?
Like
Yeah.
looking for it.
Yeah, they don't appreciate it, and they actually demand stuff from you, like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, they got the nerve to make demands, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Or like when you release a new album, they'll be like, when's the next one coming? It's like, dude, he just released this.
yeah. So I'm not a, you know, I'm not a fan of even though I'm going to come, I'm about to start working on Algorythm 2 actually.
Oh wow,
And,
okay.
we got a KILLAH PRIEST project I'm wrapping up right now.
Oh,
Actually,
another one. Wow, because
yeah,
I'm a big fan of the
yeah,
first one.
heavy mental. So
That's
you know
great.
we had Don't Sit on the Speakers as well, which was like a tribute to the hip hop, to the old school. We did it just old school style over the break beats. You know, we tried to make it sound like aesthetic, like it was a mix show, like an old school mix show from the 80s on the radio. You know,
Ah,
put it together to make it sound like that. Try to make, you know, that was the attempt. So that's called Don't Sit on the Speakers. That's you could that's on streaming. You could stream that now. That's been out for a little minute too.
2011, I believe it came out, right?
I think something like that. Or no, I don't think that.
Actually,
that
I have
no,
it saved in my
not
phone.
2011. Maybe like 2015, maybe.
I was gonna say I got that album saved in my phone. Thank God to title right there. But that's what I like though, like about like you never really like went off and like I'm gonna try to make a trap sound. You always stuck to what you believed in. Like you never tried to blend in with like a Mike Will made it. Like there are some producers that came up and tried to switch their sounds, but it's just something about like the Wu elements that like you guys have that sound that just like it's so genuine. Like if anybody tries to recreate it, they're gonna say, hey, this is like a Fourth Disciple or Bronze Nazareth sound. Um 2017.
Here you go. Yep. Here we
Yeah,
go.
man. Yeah, because I love the We Came track on that. Woo! My jam right there.
But
So
yeah, on the topic of the like the styles, see that's the thing. Like you know, Fourth has many styles. You know, it's you know people just want a certain thing because that's what they heard. A lot of people haven't heard. I have other styles of beats. I haven't had the chance to collab with certain artists to bring that those certain flavors out. You see, I haven't found a certain artist that could, you know, that match over certain things. You know, so but there's plenty of fourth styles. You know, this is see people think they know what the fourth style is. You know, there's many layers to it. You know,
because I also heard that you wanted to work with Rock Marciano. Has he ever got back to you?
I reached out. I never reached out to him directly.
Okay.
So yeah, I had a you know like a third party of a third party, you know, somebody that knowing that somebody that knows somebody that knowing that, you know what I'm saying, some you know stuff like that. So yeah, you know, long story short, you know, things just didn't, you know, just didn't pan out like that. So you know, just kept it moving. But I definitely would like to get him on the future joint or anything with Rock.
Yeah, because him and Kai, ooh, man, Kai, man, ooh, that brother right there, is special right there. And I think that
Who that?
like Kai, you never heard Descendants of Cain?
Nope.
It's like he goes by Brownsville Club Kai.
Oh, okay, I heard. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's so many
I
Kais.
never heard him. I heard of him. I never heard him though.
I recommend The Last Samurai. Oh my god, that one right there. That was like the crown and gem for him right there. It's a very you can tell he's Rock's OG. He actually did a song with the RZA back in 2007. I mean, sorry, with the Jizza in 2007 called Firehouse.
Mm.
But like going into like your career though, like how does somebody from a small town end up like even though it was little scratches and turntables, how does a small town producer end up working on one of the most influential albums probably in human history, to be honest?
Well, you know, my relationship with RZA started early. You know, I met him as a teenager. So, you know, this was kind of, you know, this is pretty much before the Wu Tang was pretty much, you know, formulated.
Was he Prince Rakeem at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, the RZA came later down the line. You
And
know,
then when you first met him, like did he automatically like call you forth, or did it take some time to like come?
oh no, yeah, that was years later. Years later. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So did you get to see like the recording for Prince Rakeem? Ooh, I Love You? Like the little maxi single he did?
No, and I wasn't there for that one, but I was there for the
Where's
Pass the Phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So how was, because like we have to remember now too, like the studio environment, it's not like how today is. Most time it's like over emails or things like that. Back then you actually had to show up to the studio. So like what was it like you being a turntablist during the 36 chamber sessions, like as a young fourth? Like what were you soaking up and then what were you seeing at the time too? Because it's a whole different atmosphere back
Well, at that time, like once I started getting into the production uh field of things, the DJ kind of thing kind of started phasing out for me. You know, I just started getting back on the tables like maybe like 6, 7 years ago.
then. Oh wow.
Yeah, but other than that, I just had a turntable just to sample or just to maybe do some cuts in a song or something like that if I needed to. But other than that, I wasn't, you know, but my passion just came back. Like, you know, the passion been there, but you know, maybe like 10 years, you know, ago, like it made like, yo, I got to get back on the turntables again. You know what I mean? I got to start working out again. You know, and once, you know, even right now, I'm still trying to get back because when I was younger, I was nice. I feel like I was nice. I'm nicer. I'm better at certain things now. But as far as with the cutting, my cutting game, my precision in it, I was way more nicer back in the 80s, you know. But I'm still nice with the cuts, but you know, with the juggling and things like that, I'm better than I was back then. I could do better, you know, more things now, but my cutting was more precise and everything back then. So I'm working on that, getting my cuts back how they were, you know. But what was your question again?
Oh
You know,
yeah.
that
So
was,
what was like the studio atmosphere being like a young turntablist during the 36 chamber sessions too? Because I also studied an engineer and a mixer.
right, right. Well, to me, that comes hand in hand with production. You know, always been into mixing.
And that's rare. That's rare to be someone like who's like, yo, I'm actually into like doing the mix.
No, because you gotta. I mean, to me, to me, like I said, it comes hand in hand to me as a producer because you know if you got your kicks and the kick might not be hitting right, so you gotta okay, how I'm gonna EQ this to make this thump more
Like,
or you know, or stand out, you know what I'm saying? So you get to experimenting because me, that's how I am. But you know, back then in my early beat staging, I don't do like now when I'm making the beat, I'm mixing as I'm making the beat.
oh wow.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't do that back then. I would just slap the elements together and worry about everything later. But now it's more of I'm more of in tune with all like how I want the sonics and everything. So I'm mixing while I'm creating. You know, I'm high passing this, boosting, you know what I mean, adding compression on that while I'm creating, you know, it's already in the beat, you know. So but far as the creative atmosphere back then, that's what I miss, you know, the organics, you know, how music was produced. You know, everything now is like I said, is by email. You'll email me the verse, email me the beat.
Yeah, it's not
So,
interact like people interact with.
yeah, yeah, we're not interacting with each other. Energies are not interacting with you know, with each other. And that's how I used to be. You know what I mean? Like I would be making a beat in the studio and they're writing as I'm making the beat.
Oh wow.
Stuff like that going on. You know, that was like the normal kind of routine. You know, we used to blow a lot of money in studios with that type of process. You know, that's what, you know, the computers and everything kind of saved everybody a lot of money, you know, as far as that go, you know, because we would go in there and create you know, we take the whole studio time actually creating the song instead of coming there with a idea already ready with the song written out, beat made. We would go in there, make the beat from scratch, write the songs, the hook, do all that right there, you know, in the session. It might not get all the way done in one session. You might have 2, 3 sessions just for one song, one or two songs, you know. So
Wow.
But that was the organics of it, you know what I mean? That's where how the magic come out. Because you know, I'm making the beat, I hear him over there spitting something that influences me. I'm hitting notes, I'm hitting drums a certain way, that's influencing him. So it's a give and take, you know, ebb and flow. So you also said the energies interacting with each other. And that's how the magic is produced, you know, like that, you know.
So
That's the type of stuff I miss, you know.
was this in like New York, or did you, or like were they like going back and forth from Ohio at the time?
Yeah, well, this is, I'm talking about in general. This is how things were done in general in these times, you know, before every, you know, Pro Tools and everything, you know, kind
Yeah,
of
it started coming out.
it took over, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that was just the process of how things were done, you know. It was just an organic process, you know. Like I said, that's how the magic come out, you know.
So like even like with your very first production placement too, well before we get to that, I heard, I believe it was on Doggy Diamonds. Shout out to my Doggy Diamonds right there, one of my influences right there.
Right.
Um,
Hey.
I think he said, yeah, it was on Doggy Diamonds. Were you there? Because like at the time, right, Killer Priest was around during those sessions. So did you get to see Killer Priest like lay down vocals like for these like sessions? Because I think he laid down vocals for The Mystery of the Chess Boxing or something like that. He said in an interview that he did some lines but didn't make the cut. And then years later, you end up having like producing half of this heavy mental album. Like so did you meet Priest during those times?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was introduced to Priest.
Oh wow.
RZA and Jizza put me and Priest together.
Oh
Like
really?
they introduced us and like, let's see what the hell they come up with. You know what I mean? And that's honestly that's what happened. They introduced me and Priest, and shortly after that, we did the Bible song. We did the demo version of the Bible song, which was supposed to be in the original version. That version got lost, so we had to remake it. So the Bible that came out now is a remade version of the song.
So did the original version get lost in that infamous flood we all heard
Yeah,
about?
the flood. Yeah.
Oh wow! So Inspected. So did you get to work on the Inspected Deck album that got lost in
Nah,
the flood?
no.
Yeah, because man, I can. That's one of the things that always replays in my head. If Deck would have released an album like went to Cal or Only Built for Cuban Links was around, and like what the thing I liked about like your production is too. Title might have got it wrong, but Title never usually gets stuff wrong. Did you produce Sub Crazy on to Cal? And was that your first placement as a producer?
Co-produce.
Oh,
Co-produce.
co-produce.
Yeah,
Okay.
when me and RZA did that together, yeah. Well, it was originally my beat. I couldn't come up with the drums. Meth, like, it's crazy. Meth like the weirdest shit. You know what I mean? Like I was just like an unfinished beat. I'm just skipping through things, like trying to find something. He's like, "Oh, what was that?" And play. I'm like, I would have never guessed he would like some shit like that.
Well, you know.
Yeah, so he wanted me to put some drums over top of it. So I couldn't come up. I couldn't come. That's why the beat is unfinished, because I couldn't think of what to come up on it. So RZA put the drums over top of it. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Because when I hear that beat,
yeah,
like,
me co-producing.
oh, see, when I hear like that type of beat, it's like you can tell like those type of beats inspire like somebody like a Derringer from Griselda Records because like if you go back and listen to like those old Wu Tang albums now, it's just like that essence. And I can only imagine if you guys never would have used the kung fu aspects of it because I read somewhere that you guys did not want to use that at first.
Well, I don't know too much about that. Maybe the clan, because you know the clan wasn't really
Formed at the time.
they weren't really, like, far as members, certain, you know, members of the clan, they weren't really into kung fu. You know, they weren't kung fu practitioners. You know, but far as the moral aspect of things, you know, brothers could relate to something like that. Only people that were really kind of into kung fu, really actual training and practitioner of would probably RZA, me, Beretta 9, KILLARMY.
Oh wow.
Uh, we had the Beggar Clan. I don't know if you But yeah, they were definitely fam. They were on the Swarm LP, a song called The Strength. On the Strength. Song called On the Strength. The Swarm, the first Swarm, I believe.
Yeah, the one with the bee on the cover of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So but they were fam, you know what I mean? But they were a real practitioner. They studied Shaolin for real. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to the brother Father Lord,
Rest in peace.
who was the kind of like the head of the Beggar clan. You know what I'm saying? So he passed away from a car accident, and ever since then, everything kind of the group kind of, but I see them kind of doing their thing now, which I'm proud to see. Them some good brothers, but they were really on the kung fu aspect for real. You know what I'm saying? Like brother Father Lord, who passed away, he had the iron neck and chest.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were on.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So other than that, nah, there wasn't nobody wasn't really into that like that. You know what I mean? As far as the morality aspect of the moral lessons in the movies, in the flicks, in the kung fu flicks, yeah, brothers will more so watch the kung fu flicks, for that. You know what I'm saying?
They got jewels in there too. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
I like that.
exactly.
Yeah, well, that's good to know that you had also embraced it too, because like even like when you incorporate it into like your music too, it like for the people who really grew up on that, it's like it was like something like we never heard. It's something we never heard of before in the '90s. I ain't got put onto the Wu until junior high because in the '90s, I wasn't into hip hop like that till like '98. That's when I first heard like DMX. And then the first album was like 2001. And then the second album was Enter the Wu Tang. And it just like, how the hell I never heard something like this before? So as I got older, I started to discover offshoots of offshoots. One of the very first albums I ever bought was Heavy Mental. I remember like crying open. I actually still I'll show you that after. I was crying open. I see Fourth Disciple. And at the time, I'm thinking RZA produced everything because internet wasn't that accessible back then. I'm like, Fourth Disciple? The fuck? And when I heard that the intro,
People read credits more then than they do now, even with the internet. People still think RZA produced, a lot of. I didn't think it was so bad until recently, actually.
Really?
I'm just now realizing how bad that actually is.
Yeah.
What people don't realize, how much people don't realize what I've done. It's really bad. I didn't know it was bad like that,
That's why I like documenting like certain times like this so we can actually get the answers from it for the people who don't even like look at or don't even have the CD, because that's what I like about Tidal. When you click on Tidal on the album, it shows everything right down to the mixer. I'm not too sure if you use Tidal, but if you click it Fourth Disciple, all of your production credits, all your mixer credits is on there. But even at the time though, like how was it like being like an assistant engineer? Like, and then like did you co-produce on Cuban Links too? Because that's one of those albums that's like so complex, and if you really don't know the lingo, it doesn't really like affect you, because like if you actually listen and get the lingo, he's talking about running guns. But but like a lot of people don't know that because it flies over their head because they don't know the lingo. So at the time now too, like, did you know like when you're being an assistant engineer that you knew that years from now like people are gonna get this album, or at the time like, man, no one's gonna get this because of the lingo?
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, as far as New York get certainly, that's like, you got down south, everybody got their own slang.
Yeah.
And, certain places get it, and certain people got to get up on it.
Did you have to get up on it?
Certain things.
Okay. Yeah.
Certain things I was familiar with because I'm around, but certain things I had to learn. I had to get up on. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm from Ohio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
different
from New York.
Yeah. So I had to adapt. To that water. And it took some time for me to adapt to New York, you know, to be honest, you know.
Now, when you were first getting into New York now too, like, did you notice like how the music scene was like more hip hop orientated back in those times?
For sure, for sure.
Because now like there's different like you can go on the New York Strip and like see like Rick Ross on there and like 25 years ago like we would have never suspected like hip hop would be like on a Vegas strip like that. So like even with New York though, like New York has billboards and billboards of hip hop artists. At the time, I don't think there was any like that.
I can't recall. I can't really I can't recall that.
So how is
But
a
I believe so though. I believe people was getting on the billboard. If I'm not mistaken.
because you
I
know
don't
like
think
how
that's
Madison Square Garden has that like that huge like LED screen that has like new artists on like something like that. I mean,
yeah, I mean I think I think people were getting billboards back. I can't really draw it up and you know definitively, but I don't think that was, you know, I don't think that's a new phenomenon,
yeah.
you know.
Okay. So like taking it back to like only built for Cuban links now too, like because like the slang was something else though, but the beats on there were different. Like I understand that you worked on Guillotine, Spot Rushers, and Wu Gambinos. Now the Guillotine,
Those credits are incorrect.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So title, y'all tripping.
I did no production on Cuban Links.
So just assistant engineer.
Yeah, just you know, assistant, you know, and it's just normal stuff that you know we
Like what?
did. Like you know, Islord even got credit for assistant engineer of on it might be Cuban Links on a song,
Wow. Okay, I did
but
not know
just
that.
for recording vocals, just for being there and hitting play and record, punching somebody in. You know, he might have recorded, you know, ghost verse on a couple song or two. You know what I mean? But that's how it was. Everybody knew how to work the machine. You know, so there's different things like that I contributed to. Might have been just EQing a little thing. Like I did an interview recently with another UK splitting atoms, but I told them about you know what the Scarface skit.
Okay.
I told you a long time ago. You know they couldn't get it to sit right. They couldn't get it to like pop out like you know it sounded like they couldn't get Montana to come like raise like I wanted to sound like he popping out the speakers. You know so they couldn't get it. RZA was trying, boom, boom. Like, I can't get it. I don't know why I can't. I went right over there, boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? Just added a little 1 point something K and you know what I mean? Boosted it. And it was like, there we go. And that's what you get. That's the result.
So did you do that for Wu Gambinos too when they're all talking about the beginnings? Like, you'll get your big Adidas off my mom's
Nah,
too. No?
nah. Just the skit as far as that, you know what I mean? Just that
So,
Montana.
so you know how like that skit in like Wu Gambinos is where they're all coming in and talking. Was it really like that in the studios at times? Like it was like they
Yeah.
just
It's
oh
everybody. It's just crowded. It's the studio is basically a clubhouse. You know what I
wow.
mean?
Yeah,
It's
because there's nine
clubhouse.
plus people in there too.
Live is real clubhouse. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the act. This is, you know what I'm saying?
That's true though, because the app you can hold so many people, but back then it's different though, because it's like you said though, the energy's different now.
Yeah, it's packed in the studio. It's packed. You know what I mean? Everywhere you go is packed. Out in the hall, the lounge, inside the control room, in the mic booth. There's people in the mic booth. You know what I'm saying? And if it's the big mic booth, there's a few people in there. You know what I'm saying? So
So
yeah, that's how, you know.
So I honestly did not know that there was an original version to Bible because I understand when you got the new one made, that led to you getting 5 production credits on Wu Tang Forever. Was it that track alone?
No, on Jizzes.
Yeah,
Jizzes.
yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah. So like when you produced like the new version of Bible that ended up on Jez's record, Liquid Swords, that led to you getting 5 producer credits on Wu Tang Forever.
I don't want to say that led to it. You know,
Because you were around from the start, obviously.
yeah. It was set up for me to, get busy. So, RZA was gonna pull me in, on whatever, what was coming, long as I had things that brothers could adapt to, RZA gave me the opportunity.
I don't know that Older God beat. Oh my God, that's like my favorite off that album. Like everyone goes to Impossible by you. I'm like, your Older Gods? Yo, my God.
That's crazy.
Because like that's I still find that crazy how there's an original version to Bible. So did you make because you said that Jizza and Reza put you and Priest together. So who told you like this Priest song is gonna be on Liquid Swords? Or did you find out like everybody else, like, yo, my beats on this album? That's not even Jizza's song?
Yeah, we kind of found out last minute type of thing.
And like, how did you feel about that? Were you kind of shocked at the same time? It's like, wow, this is like we were gonna save this for your album.
Yeah, because what they, they was setting it up for me and Priest basically by doing that, then like shortly after that, Priest got his deal with Geffen, which was the same label that Jizza was on, so yeah,
And like even like with like you and Priest now too, like because KILLARMY, this is what I really want to get into, KILLARMY, because you guys' debut album recently celebrated 23 years. The 24th anniversary is coming up. So the beginnings of KILLARMY, for the fans who don't know, Don Pacino and Killa Sin weren't in the picture back then. And at the time when forming KILLARMY, it took some time to put everybody together. So I understand that you, Islord, and Shotgun all grew up together, if I got my facts right.
Shogun.
Yes, sir.
Me, Islord, Shogun.
Kinetic 9?
Well, I met Kinetic later on, even though he's from around, I didn't know him until later on. He came into the picture a little later. Actually around the same time. He came into the picture before Don Pacino and Killa Sin though.
Okay.
Yeah, but far as like the time period of me knowing RZA and things like that, he came into the picture later, like years later.
Where you stand off?
Them brothers are younger. They're a little younger than me. Except for Shogun. Islord might be a year older than me though, actually.
Okay.
Islord might be a year or two years older than me.
So it's like different generations all in one, because obviously Nine Prince was around. That's RZA's brother.
No, he was around. He went to school, with us.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's how we met RZA, because RZA's had family where I'm from in my hometown. That's how I went to school with high school with his younger brother. And that's how I met RZA, through his brother.
And at the time now too, like, did you like obviously you didn't see that time of being a group with them now, but when you were forming, like before like everyone was like, we'll KILLARMY, were you kind of like, I don't want to do something like that right now, kind of want to focus on producing like individual tracks? Like, did you know that you wanted to fully do silent weapons?
I didn't want to do KILLARMY when the idea was brought to me. I was opposed to it.
And like, how did they come up to you with it? Like, how did they say like?
They didn't come up to me.
Oh wow!
It was my brother General Wise, who we talk about in the KILLARMY music.
Yes, sir.
A lot, who passed away. He begged me to do it.
Oh wow!
And he gave us the funding to start, to get my first studio set up. So that was my payment to do it, to work with them.
Wow, he gave you a whole studio to do that? Wow.
It was my startup. I had a Mackie board and one ADAT and one little cheap compressor and a microphone. But that was my startup. That that was the set off. From there, I built it on. You know what I mean?
Was that in '95?
Yeah, this is earlier. This is like 92, 93.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like 92. Yeah,
So wow, I never knew like it was
yeah.
taking it that far back.
It's
And
like 91, 92. Yeah,
wow, so like the beginnings actually go way back. Like we're
yeah,
talking like even before like 36 Chambers was released. Wow.
yeah. Yes, I
And
met RZA. I had demo. I wish I still had the demos with Ghost and Dirty. I had stuff I
oh
recorded
wow.
with them back then. Like, like, yeah, man. It's just crazy.
So do
Yeah.
you so like even like with that now too, like when you first all got like well, I should ask this. When Killer Army first decided to start recording Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, what initially was the first track like everybody recorded together?
I never made, and it didn't make the album. That song.
Oh wow. So there's stuff
Might
that
have
didn't
been, well,
make it.
one of the demo songs, I talked about this in a previous interview as well. Because there's some of the songs from those demos that actually made the Silent Weapon album. The songs
Oh,
that on the album is the actual demo that we recorded in my grandmother's basement, on that original setup that I'm
oh
telling you about
wow.
with the 1/8 at the Mackie board. And how I used to do it, I would have the beat would be synced to the keyboard. My Roland W30, which I was using at the time, would be synced to the 8 at. So when you hit play on the 8 at, the beat start playing. So I would just record the vocals on the 8 at, and the beat would play live from the machine. So you would do all your mix downs or whatever. You would program program that in the keyboard, or you have to do the mutes live on the Mackie board, like your drops, taking out the drums and stuff like that. I had to do that by hand manually. There wasn't no automation for the Pro Tools to program it to do that for
Yeah, no
you had to,
clicking or nothing.
yeah, you had to do that shit. And if you got it wrong, you had to rewind the tape and record it all over again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I forgot where I was going with it. God damn. I forgot where I was going. What
Like
was
like the, like the creative prod, like the first song y'all recorded as a group together.
Oh yeah, so Seems and Never Fails.
Oh wow.
That's a demo. And Shelter.
So did you
Those
know
are,
like just because they were demos, like did you know like these may not make the like we're just doing this just to make sure we get a deal? Because back I
we
can't.
always knew we wanted to use those songs. Like,
Oh wow.
yeah, those were like songs like, yeah, these has got to be on the album. Whenever we finish the album, these joints is going on the album. So that, and plus we had got like with Seems and Never Fails, we got a lot of support from clan members with that track. Like Ray loved that song, Ghost loved that song, RZA loved that song. People used to love that song when they heard it.
Because Killer Army had its own cult following. Like I heard like stories about people used to have like they're like if you were a true Wu fan, they would have like Killer Army posters in their room. And I remember the first time I ever seen like the Dirty Weapon. My cousin had like he made like printed off the computer, but it was huge though. That's on like Killer Army. So taking it back to Silent Weapons and Quiet Wars, because you know how release parties are now, like the big go to the club, flyers everywhere. How was the release party for that album?
I wasn't there.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. I
Now,
missed a lot of stuff. I missed a lot of stuff.
wow, okay. So that but even for you though, that was your fully produced album, except for War Faces and I think Swin and Swords. I know RZA did two tracks.
Warface and yeah, RZA did too. Warface and Wake Up.
There we go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, with Sons of Man.
Yep.
So at the time now too, like how accomplished did you feel like having a fully produced album under Fourth Disciple? Because that was initially your first fully produced album, if for the public, should I say?
Oh yeah, that's yo. Yeah, that's a beautiful feeling. Definitely. Major accomplishment for sure.
Especially for like the 97 too. Like that was like golden era.
Yeah, because I had something I wanted to prove. That was like I felt like that was my introduction into the game. That's how I felt. I felt like, this was my introduction. Even though I had production on previous things.
This was all yours, pretty much.
Yeah, I felt like I get to show people what I can do. right here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get to display my skill. You know what I'm saying? Like this is, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it definitely, you know, that I can't even, it was a major accomplishment, you know what I'm saying? And I, you know, I tilt my hat and honors to RZA and Vine for giving me the opportunity, you know, to display my skill to the world, you know.
Like you know, I kind of relate to Ninth more, or I kind of relate to Isto more. Like, did you have like that certain connection of one of the KILLARMY members?
Yeah, me and B9 was real.
Oh,
You know, we was like that. We was, you know, Ace Boo Coons. Me and Killer Sin was cool too. Me and
wow.
Killer Sin, we was tight.
Now I always
And
hear,
Don Pacino, we get along. You know, me and him, you know, we both Gemini, so we be twinning it up. You know what I mean? So that's like my Puerto Rican brother from another mother. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
Dom's still doing his thing too, right there. Salute to Dom. A lot of people wanted me to ask you this. The last time you talked to Killer Sin, and do you know his status of if he's
I
out?
haven't. Nope. I
No.
haven't. Nope. Sad to say. Sad to say, I don't.
Because Killer Sin, man, like this guy was like, oh my god, like he's kind of like Timbo King in his own certain way because Timbo King is a rare breed, but we only got one Timbo King album from Babylon to Timbuktu. One of my biggest things was I really wish that Killer Sin would have had you produce one of his albums, like how Hellraiser did Freedom for Speech. Like I would have wished that would have happened. So if Killer Sin decided to like say all of his labor problems, he got that over with. He called you, say Joe Forth, I want to get back
On
into
it. We on it.
it. All right, that's good to know.
We on it.
But do you also feel that way too about Killer Sin? Like he should have that debut solo
Killer
album.
Sin should be on his at least third album by now. You know, that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Because it ain't like he don't got the work ethic. When he get in the booth, he go in.
Yeah.
You know I mean, so I know he could put together an album like nothing if he just put the time to it. So, you know, yeah, that happened, I'm all in.
Because I like how like even with like a Sons of Man, like we still got a 60-second Assassin solo album, but like I always say like, man, just the Killer Sin, man. But so I like how you said that though. He should be on his third album though, because he has such standout. He has a standout verse on Bronze, The Great Migration, and on that soundtrack, The Iron Fist. Like he has a whole solo song to himself on there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, Killer Sin, if you see this, man, I really hope you get in contact with Forth, man, because people are still checking for you, Killer Sin, if you hear this, man. Believe it or not.
I know he got some music. You know, he was working on some, some things before, the unfortunate circumstances took place. But hey man.
Now at the time now too, this is what my followers really wanted me to ask you about the making of the second KILLARMY album, Dirty Weaponry. I know about the cover already, Access to Ninth Prince, but I forgot to ask him too, how did you feel about Hologram appearing on like half the album and he wasn't even a part of KILLARMY? I ain't gonna say he killed those verses, but
Holocaust?
yeah. Oh yeah, my bad, Holocaust.
The hologram. I'm like
my bad, Holocaust, for you listening.
You said a hologram, man, on the hologram hogging up the album.
Yeah, my bad, Holocaust.
But nah, ain't nobody feel no type of way. He fitted the mold. You know what I mean? It was new energy. We was all in California at the time.
Oh, so that was done.
Yeah, we recorded that album in California. Yeah.
Because the first one was done in Ohio and then y'all finished it in New York. But wow, I never knew that one was.
Oh yeah, the first one was done. Some songs were done in Ohio. We went to New York to record it.
Did you also
when we came back home from doing that, unfortunate circumstances took place. Me and Don Pacino got shot.
Oh wow.
Together while we was together.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a whole lot of stuff sparked off from that. We had to exile somebody from the group. So that made us, and we had to go back and re-record, restructure the whole album. We had to remove the brother from the album. So there was a initial KILLARMY member that was removed from, from all the music and everything. So we had to go fill in the blanks, see what we're gonna put, so we had to restructure we had to go back, restructure the whole album all over again. So we ended up removing some songs, recording some new songs, replacing his verse with somebody else, things like that.
That was for the first album, right?
Yeah, that's for the first album.
Wow. See, like, that's what I like about having stories like that, because it makes you think, like, would it have got the same reception if this other member was in there, or what if this other member was in there? So,
yeah. Well, he was nice. He was neck and neck with Killer Sin.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
He's nice. He's nice. He still got talent to this day.
See, well, besides Killer Sin, I always get the flack for this though, because I like the weird shit. I always liked Ninth Prince's flow because it was kind of offbeat. It was like so unorthodox at the time. I'm like, yeah, I like this guy right here.
Yeah, it was different.
But you hardly ever hear people like Ninth Prince was my favorite member. The other go Don Pacino, Killer Sin. I was like always arguing when they were picking. I'm like Ninth Prince, Madman, because that was another song that was supposed to be on there but didn't make it. Right? It was a Ninth Prince
demo.
song.
Yeah, demo. Yeah. That was a dope song too. Madman. We had Trey Pound 7, Do or Die.
Do you still listen to these?
Nah, I don't. I wish I had them. That's what this is. A lot of this stuff got lost, man. This is a lot of lost material.
Yeah, and you can't even like replace.
But some of this stuff though, I believe somebody still, because some of this stuff was recorded on the real. So somebody got the masters.
Oh, so somebody
got the masters somewhere. You know what I'm saying? To some of this stuff, because some of the stuff, like I said, was on the ADATs.
Yeah, and that's all gone.
But the masters that, from the mix down to the DAT, the small digital tape, the DAT player, them little cassette joints, the small cassettes
that you used to put in the voice recorder.
Yeah, those are somewhere too. You got them somewhere too. So.
See, and like that's what I like about like having like interviews like this now too, because we know like if there's real still existing, then one of these label companies has to have it at the time, or somebody has to have it. Like I bet you it's in a box. They have no idea what it is.
Yeah, it's like that sometimes. Like stuff just get lost in the warehouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, I can only imagine some of the shit that was like gone in the warehouse. Because I understand now too. I honestly, because born in '91, we looked at this mansion as kind of a myth because I don't think there's pictures of it. If there is, I just never put any much effort. We just basically talked about it. At the time, for recording for Wu Tang Forever, I understand that RZA was in one room in the Wu Mansion, you were in another room, True Master was in the other. So like, how was it recording from like a basement to like the Wu Mansion, and what was the Wu Mansion like for somebody who never experienced it?
Well, the basement was the studio was in the basement.
Oh, really? Okay, but still, it's still in the mansion though.
Yeah. But I had my little space, my little room. Of course, RZA had the big room. Shit, who else we had? I'm trying to think who else was up there. But when you walking through, like say like my room, my little room at the time was across from Raekwon's room.
Oh wow.
And then Ghostface's room was right next to his room. You know what I'm saying? So when you coming through, like I'll be in my room cooking up something. So you just hear beats. You walk in, you hear something, you come past.
I can imagine that.
Walk through, my area, you hear shit cooking up. Ray be in the room, Ray just, I'll be making something, Ray coming like, hey, I like that. There's been a couple things like that Ray wanted to spit to, but we never got a chance to record it. You know what I mean?
I can hear. So it was like that at times. Like you'll be in the room, like random like crew members would walk in, like grades, like yo,
Yeah, exactly.
that's the one. Sure,
You
yeah.
go walk over by RZA's room, same thing. And damn, I'm trying to think if it was Deck. Somebody else had their stuff set up too.
True Master.
Uh yeah, True was there, yeah, but I think True might he mainly like had his stuff in the studio, in the basement. Like he was set up in there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I would only come down there if it was like if I was laying down a beat. That's when I would like bring my stuff down. If I had to track a beat down to the reel to the tape, you know what I mean?
So
But
were it just Wu members at the time allowed in this mansion? Like there was like, did you ever have somebody like I don't know, like a John Travolta just walk in the room? It's like, whoa, it's fucking John Travolta or somebody like that.
not John Travolta.
No, this is like a random first name that came to my head.
I'm trying to think. Not that I could. Now the old studio, yeah. You know, when he had the studio, when we recorded the first KILLARMY album, this before the mansion.
Okay.
Remember, we came up to record the album.
Yeah.
And then, you know, had to come back up there, you know. So once that spot, the apartment.
Oh, there's some legendary
studio in the basement at the apartment. That spot. Now, yeah, you know, I met Kane, Bounty Killer. No, that's when we did the Warface beat. You know, there's a Bounty Killer song that was originally that's a Bounty Killer. He used the same beat too for a song.
Oh wow!
It might be called Warface too.
I'm gonna have to. Oh wow! I did not know that.
Yeah,
wow.
Same beat, Bounty Killer. So you know, he came through with his whole crew. Kane came through just to check out the vibe, like type of thing. It was a little weird though. I ain't gonna lie, it was a little weird. Kane came. It was kind of weird, you know what I mean? But it was cool though. It was cool and shit, you know. Kane he came through just, you know, because this is when Wu was just starting, you know, it's new. So everybody, you know, people want to come and see what, you know, they putting Staten Island on the map. So now people want to come and check out Staten Island and see what the fuck is going on, you know, what's going on in Staten Island, you know what I'm saying? So Kane come through, you know, me and Meth take him to Park Hill, you know, to go get the smoke. He wanted some smoke. Me and Meth rode with him, you know, went to Park Hill, get the smoke. Came back, we burning, just building, you know what I mean?
Wanted to be glad you brought up Meth now too, because if you think about it, we wait for a sophomore album from a debut from an artist that we like we only have to wait like maybe 6 months ago. Back then it was different. Back then recording was different, the budgeting was different. And so when we first got the Cal album, we didn't know we would have to wait 4 years to get the next one. So when he released the next one, I was shocked. Well, I wasn't shocked, but I was surprised to see that you did the first single. Because we're over here thinking like, yo, RZA should be doing this. But when we heard Judgment Day, oh my God, like, ding, I don't like this world. Yo, that beat right there, it is like, that's probably like my favorite from you. Like that shit right there is, I'm so glad that they chose to have you for that first single. Because as I walk through the shadow of death, 16 man on, like, I can't get over that. So how did they approach you saying that this Judgment Day is going to be the first single for the Cal 2000 and Method Man? Because this was like,
I didn't know.
Again?
Me and Meth just went into the studio, and I knew I was working on something for the new album, but I didn't know that they would choose that for the single. Wow. You know, actually, you know, that beat I was supposed to get co-production credit, but if you look on it, they didn't give me no credit. But you know, I get publishing for it. but they just completely removed me from the credit for it. You know what I mean? But I was supposed to have, I gave Meth co-production because what had happened, the original beat, okay, Meth was like, can you switch it up a little bit? Like, because the beat was like the doom.
Yeah.
I go do do doom do do doom do do doom. Meth added that that extra.
Oh, I know.
I just had he was like, can you? I was like, I just like show me what you want. I just said hit, you know. Then I set the keyboard and hit record and I let him do it. I recorded him doing. I recorded him on the sequence on the keyboard. I let him, you know, and then everything else I layered on top, like the little and the strings. I put all that on top, but I don't know. I think Def Jam they had somebody go back and add a little bit of drums, percussions on top, like so. There's some extra hi hats, and I think maybe like another kick in the snare underneath the drums that's already there. So, you know, they want to maybe reinforce it a little more. So yeah, they had somebody go in and do that.
Wow, I did not know like because on title it says Fourth Disciple, but maybe like on the actual thing, because yeah, that's
on the actual, the actual
CD.
the CD, it didn't have me on there at all.
Oh. Now shout out to Tyler, or at least give my guys some credit, man, over here. Jeez. Elliot Wilson, man, we need more of that credits right there. What I like about your career now too, after everything that you went through, you didn't give up. Like you could have easily gave up. Like, because if somebody's not putting your name on the credits for something, I would have like that's like so discouraging at the time too. It's like people like other people getting credit for stuff that you. That's like, bro, I did that.
That ain't even the half of the stuff that I've been through. You know, missing credit. That's a scratch on the elbow as far as, you know, comparison what I've been through in this business, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you've probably seen more ugly than you've seen good sides of it now.
Yeah.
But you also have those memories though.
To the point that make you not even want to do music. You know how the business is now. It's not even fun. It used to be fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun. You know. It's not.
Now everyone's in it for a quick buck.
Then everything quick. They want the music quick. They want you everything just microwave. Like give it to me instant. You
Give
know
me one verse only.
You know, I just put out another album. You ain't putting out another one next week. You know what I'm saying? Like I just put out an album. Like damn, you supposed to put out another one. You putting out another one next week? Shit.
It's like everybody ain't Griselda.
Satisfy people. Ain't enough is enough. But then I'm getting like this too, like far not with the music, but you know, far as like with movies, it's feel like they can't make them fast enough.
Or they keep remaking like something over and over
Same
again.
stuff, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it's like you watch a series on Netflix or a couple, you know, series, or you watch a movie and then it's like, oh, now what's next?
Yeah.
Now you want the next new thing, like, you know what I'm saying? So I see myself getting like that to a degree, you know, as well.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about too, your algorithm. Now, man, I'm kind of glad you released this. I'm also kind of pissed out that you didn't release more solo albums like this, like when you were like doing your freedom of speech album with Hellraiser. Because man, you know, some of these, you know, the record of Sean Price right there. The record of Sean Price and Petey Crak. Well, there's two of them, but the record of Sean Price, I'm like, yo, this shit right here. I kind of wish they did an album, but I understand that the record of Sean Price inspired the Algorythm.
Yeah, Sean Price and the Peedi too. Because you know, so we were gonna originally, the intention was to do an EP with Sean Price originally.
Oh, so he has more vocals over your beats?
Not now. I gave Bernadette one for the Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
I gave her that, and then the two. I had 3 verses from it.
Oh wow.
3 on 3 different beats. So I gave her one with the beat, and then the two I had, I just put them on one song. So the two I had, instead of them on two different beats, I put them together on one track.
And that's the Beluga one we got, right?
Bagua, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Bagua, yes.
Yeah.
So like, I understand, because I interviewed everybody from Doctor Down, everybody except for Sean Price. And that's like kind of what kills me, because like, I never got to build with the gentleman. But I also got into podcasting in 2018, so he was passed already. But one of the things I always heard about this guy, he was impossible to get a hold of. But when he fucked with you, he fucked with you. So how did you get a hold of Sean Price? I have to ask him. or did he get a hold of you?
Well, I sought him out. I definitely had to pull my resources together. You know what I mean? So good thing I knew some people that was, close to him. I got to give respects and a shout out to my brother Exact. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have connected with P.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did he, so when you, like, obviously you guys had phone conversations or like in-person conversations?
Yeah, on the phone.
Okay.
Initially on the phone.
So when you first had the conversation with him, he's like, fourth disciple? Like, KILLARMY? Like, was he like that?
Not really, but it was like he, I could tell it was like the interest was high, but at the same time, he had to do his investigation on me. You know what I'm saying? So he let me know that, when we finally met in the flesh, he's like, yeah, I had to make some calls and make sure, make sure, you want no nut or nothing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to call around. So, he made his calls, you know what I'm saying? So it checked out, he linked up with me.
It's good to know that you actually like met him in the flesh as opposed to just emailing records,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Wow. And man. even like the intro, that's a deep intro for a man, an idea, the equipment, place to work in and secrets. All the ingredients are here with the confidence of a man who knows it can be done. Maybe it will work tonight, disappear with many times before. Driven by an obsession that it can be done. He's uncertain with failures of the past or dangers of the future. His only interest is to prove his theory. When I heard that, I was like, yo, this fits like, like that fitted you so well. So when because I know you're not supposed to ask somebody, yo, who sampled that? But when you heard that, where you're like, yo, I'm using that.
I've been sitting on that for a minute too.
So were you just like chilling back in the crib one day, watching something that came on? It's like, yo, wind that back.
Exactly. Wow. I used to just record the TV.
Oh, really?
I used to hook the mini disc recorder up to my cable box.
Wow, mini disc.
Just sit there while I'm watching cable. I would just record. I had the remote for the mini disc recorder. I put a blank disc in and record. I'll record me flicking through the channels and everything, all of that. Just record my whole time. Me while I'm watching, I just record it all. What I'm watching, the commercials, everything.
Yeah.
And I'll go back and take stuff out of it and sample stuff. Because it'd be stuff in movies, like the scores in movies. That'd be like dope, like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like only way you could get that was to actually record the show or something. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Jay Electronica does that. He did that on that Act 2 album. He sampled some score from Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory. I'm like, this is from fucking Willy Wonka and Chocolate. But I know what you mean by that. It's like the inspiration could just come from anywhere.
Yeah. So I was big on like trying to find different stuff to sample instead of sampling everybody, because back in, it was like who could come with the original, who could be original. I'm still like that. I still try to be original.
But I'm glad that like that was a sample though, instead of having like, because you could have easily said something like that or get like Master Kill or something like that to like, yo, can you say this on here for me? But like that sample though, that was perfect for you, because if you paid attention to your career and when you hear that, it's like, yo, Fourth always been around. He's always been around. He may not be in the forefront, but he's always been there.
Right.
So like even with like that intro too, knowing that you were sitting on that and you used it with that. Um, I'll never forget when I was at work, got a call from Philadelphia. I'm like, who the fuck is this? The answer is like, yo, it's Petey Crak. I'm like, get the hell out of here. That's not Petey Crak. He's like, so he showed me it was Petey Crak. I'm like, yo. So when I was doing my research on Petey Crak in 2018, I was following his career. And last year, I seen that you guys, he said something. I don't know if he was on his IG live or something like that, but he's like, yo, I'm working with fourth disciple on a full album. And is yo, is that really true? And how the hell does Petey Crak get like that's such a unexpected collaboration, but it works.
Yeah, definitely. And that was the beauty. What I think with me and Petey, I think it really could have worked. I think it still could work. You know,
Oh yeah, that's facts. Yeah, you know, it still can work. Yes.
yeah, and that's the beauty. That's the one of the beauties that I seen in that chemistry. That's one of the most valuable things that is unexpected. To see me and him, just that chemistry of Fourth Disciple and Petey, like nobody would ever think, like, what the them two together? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then we kind of like, you know, like I had to tell, like, when people heard the algorithm, I got a lot of calls, a lot of emails from people saying, yo, you and Petey need to do a project together. I mean, somebody else too. It was Petey Crak and Vinnie Paz. I got flooded with messages with people saying, y'all need Vinnie Paz, me and him need to do a project, and Petey Crak. You know what I'm saying? So now with Petey, I still got another song that's unreleased. That's unreleased. And see what the thing with that with Petey Crak too, that's like, you know, me and him went into the studio after Sean P passed away. He was like, okay, the plan B, like, you know what I mean? Like, damn, like, Sean, what am I going to do now? So me and Petey went into the studio, to start banging something out, so then we had some complications. So things didn't kind of pan out all, full circle with that. So I'd used the verse for the algorithm, the track for the algorithm. We released one single, and we still got another track.
Because
no, we released two singles: "Good Life."
Yeah, the Good Life one. Yeah.
And Intermission.
Oh, I did not know you did Intermission.
Intermission. Yep.
Wow. So
intermission is dope to me. It's slept on. That's
2018. I remember that track.
Yeah.
Wow.
Slept on.
See, he's another one of those artists that
slept on.
Yeah.
He should be on his about third album or something like that. Yeah.
Because we got mixtapes, but I don't really consider those because the DJ's screaming all in. It's just kind of like it's a mixtape.
Right. Yeah.
But I honestly think that we see in this era like a producer and an artist go in like an example is like when a DJ Muggs does with his collaborations, he'll go pick like an artist he'll work extensively with, and they'll benefit from that because of the renaissance we're in. Like even though like with the Lloyd Banks reception I've been seeing, I can only imagine if you and Petey released an 18-track album like that. I know it would get the same reception because Petey Crak doesn't have that one album that you could just be like, he was supposed to, Prince of the Rock, but we never got that. He was supposed to have that one album that we were all supposed to go to. And I believe that we can still have that one album, but it can only be with you.
Well, I'm willing, it's just that, things just, gotta be, I know Petey like things a certain way. I like things a certain way.
Yeah. I know Petey's very particular on what he releases too.
Yeah, I am too.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sometimes that could be a problem. Like, I mean, it's the energies is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm finicky, he finicky, so it's like, hey, shit just blow up. Like, fuck this shit. I don't want to do it no more, man. You know what I'm saying?
Would it have to be in person?
What's that?
Would it have to be in person if you did an album with him?
I would like it to be. I would like anything from here on out. you know, if it can be physical, you know what I'm saying? That's how I would like it, you know.
Now,
Like
one
I
of
said,
the
that's how the magic happened, you know. Then if you right here, I could tell you easily, nah, that don't fit.
yeah,
Instead of you sending me the verse, I'm like, nah, then I gotta email you back or call you like, nah, then wait for you to send another one, or now you mad because
because he
I
said he
don't
don't
like
like
it.
it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Now you thinking I'm funny because I don't like it. I'm not saying it's whack. It just don't fit the mold. It's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So you gotta go. You got all these things you got to deal with as a producer. You know what I mean? You got to deal with everybody's ego and emotions, and you know what I mean. You got to balance your own out.
Yeah, because that makes sense for you too, because you just don't want to throw anything out because like I always say producers have more advanced ears than the average listener because they can hear different sounds with their ears. But I can imagine like you would make a beat and then like a day or two later, I don't like that. Like I'm pretty
Sometimes immediately after
oh
making it.
oh wow. Oh, I never knew that. Wow.
Yep.
So like one of the things that we're seeing a comeback of too, and I'm not too sure if they reached out to you, but the four horsemen, Killer Priest, Cannabis, Corrupt,
No, they didn't reach out to me. Nope.
man, because the offering, you're the you produced the only horseman track on that Killer Priest album, the offering, and had the horseman on it. And I'm like, yo, like, how the fuck you're not gonna include fourth in this new one right there? But there was another thing I wanted to talk to you about now too, because this is on YouTube, and like what you said, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So I want to clear the air on this. Killer Priest, the offering. There's a thing on YouTube where the song Gun for Gun, it says Fourth Disciple original beat. Now, is that real? Oh wow.
Yeah, with the knives on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Because with YouTube, we don't really know. They're like, oh, they're just doing this for views and stuff like that. But
Nah, that's yeah.
that,
The original sound better.
I was gonna say because I was like, yo, like what? I went and listened to the original. Like, what the fuck is this? And then you hear the original. It's like, why would you get rid of that?
Yeah.
Obviously, that wasn't in your decision because if it was yours, you would have kept that.
They could have gave it to me.
Yeah. But I'm glad like we get like little leaks like that on YouTube because because like I ain't gonna lie, I had to download that, put it in my place, take the original, and put that one in because I was like, I like that one better than the original.
Right.
So like even like with that now too, like don't sit on the speakers now too. Like, did you guys know that you guys were gonna get like a good reception off that? And you guys, because you said you guys were working on another one, right?
Yeah, well, it's already done. It's in the. Can I do a screen share on here? I got it in the background now. I'm
Yeah.
finishing it up. Yeah, I'm working on finishing that album up. It's called Celestial Grammar.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm in the mastering stage of that right now. That's what I was just going to show, and just to show people like, yeah, it's on the grill, it's coming. You know what I'm saying? It's a reality. You know, this is the.
As y'all can see, this is the future Killer Priest album we're about to get.
Yep, this is it.
Wow, and he wanted to call this heavy metal too. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
But
you getting the sneak peek.
Yeah, wow, this is a first from
this is the super sneak peek right here.
You have to know some of the things.
Okay, we got.
It uses MC bait, lyrical ritual, spiritual science, double helical, shuttle vehicles point up.
Woo! Hold on. I ain't gonna do. Can you hear that?
Yeah, we can definitely hear that, sir.
There you go. Let me see.
We did not expect this. I was just expecting to see the screen. Wow.
Yeah, I ain't gonna play it though. I ain't gonna get crazy though.
Oh no, yo, even that little one was well appreciated. God damn.
Yeah, yes. Woo. This is gonna be. I hope people receive this well, man. Word up. Word up.
I believe they will, because if they like jump off the speakers, I've been seeing it online. I don't know if you could Twitter or Google yourself, but you should Google your Twitter yourself sometime and see what they say about you online.
Yeah, on Twitter.
Well, I always hear people like, "Yo, fourth is like," besides, okay, they go like this. Yo, besides RZA, it's fourth, and I'm like that's a high. Like they said, if it wasn't RZA, we would just take fourth. I'm like, man, like yo, fourth has so many joints that you can just go off of, man. I'm not even of that. Like I think like Priest is really hitting his stride, because I remember for the longest time people were asking for heavy mental too, and then I'm like, why would you want to see? I don't like when people make sequels. Like
Yeah,
so you're like that too. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Like Priest wanted to, he wanted to name this one.
Heavy mental too.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, nah, man, nah.
Because it's like it just doesn't seem like it's putting much effort into the craft when you do 2 or 3. It's like,
Right.
it's like, are you just trying to relive off the first one? But like,
Right. Can you?
like your career now too. Like that's what I like. Like people know who you are, and like even like you were on Vinnie Paz's Season of the Assassin, and that's 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
People are still wanting like a collaboration album with you too. Like I kind of wish he would have had you on his new album, Burn Everything That Bears Your Name.
You know what? I ain't hear that album because he grabbed a couple beats from me. I know he came out with one as a single with the Heavy Metal Kings.
Oh, I think that was off of As Above, So Below, his album.
This was like maybe a year ago.
Yeah, that was off of As Above, So Below, because that was last year.
Yeah, that they threw one of the singles out was my beat from that. I think the initial single, I believe.
But the people initially want like fully produced by Fourth Disciple.
Pardon me?
Like the people want like all produced by Fourth Disciple, like not just a single.
Right, right. They want a project with me and Paz, you know what I mean? But even that one, that's you know, it's a couple people on that with it. You know what I mean? I think it's like 2 other people on there, 2 or 3 other people on that track.
Well, even like with like your production style and like, yo, Vinnie Paz is just different, yo. Like I never really got into him until I seen him on Joe Rogan. I'm like, wow, he really like. I just thought like he was just a drunk white guy, but once I did my research on him, I'm like, yo, this guy really knows like his stuff about hip hop and like what's going on in the world. Like,
Right. Yeah, yeah.
like the burn everything that bears your name, like that. Some of the things he be saying on that shit is deep, like deep. Like the white elite Holly. Yo, I don't want to get into that now.
Yeah, the Pazmanian. Yeah. Sure.
So with you like knowing what you want, because you want to get back out there now too, how do you feel about like today, about like the underground kind of crossing over to the mainstream? Because it's not a lie. Like DMX's first single had Griselda on it, and like that's the Griselda sound. So how do you feel about like actually grimy but music with integrity coming back? I'm not gonna say all music has integrity, but there's a lot of integrity music coming out from the underground.
Well,
Like, does that inspire you?
Once something becomes a trend, everybody want to start following. So now that's what I'm seeing now. Everybody's imitating the Griselda sound or beat. You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to do the little slow, the little airy lo-fi. You know, we've been doing it. I never stopped doing it either. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I got those type of beats as well. Always had them. But, you know, it's just something like, you know, now everybody hopping on the bandwagon. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's the quote unquote sound.
You know, so the sound never left. Like, you know,
it just got a resurgence.
Yeah, but it always been there. Nobody wasn't really trying to fuck with it. Everybody was caught up into everything else.
Like the hi-hats, like that's like I noticed that was big.
Everybody was trying to do what everybody, you know, everybody just get caught up into the Jones. You know what I'm saying? What's popular? What's hot right now? You know what I mean? And now this is hot right now. So now everybody want to do hip hop again.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, it's good. I see, you know, it's a good thing, but I also see the hypocrisy as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like even with I got a couple more quiet and I'll let you go because I know you're busy, man. When coronavirus hit last year, one of the albums that I went back and listened to extensively was Silent Weapons and Quiet Wars. Now, when the coronavirus hit, did that album cross your mind? Like that title at all?
Oh yeah. No, I was upset here and said no.
Yeah.
Lying my butt off. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And, like, did you have to go back and listen to that album to see like if there was like
I
references?
didn't do that, but you know, just the whole concept, you know, that whole concept definitely, you know, it's like, oh, here we go. We here now. We in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know,
I
we
get a
in
lot
it.
like
It's
sound.
here. We talked about it for years. It's here now. You know what I mean?
It's kind of dude, just that title though, it's just like that was like I always tell people like that shit was the soundtrack for 2020 was Sound Weapons Quiet Wars. Because if you really do think about it now too, like everything goes back to what it was. Now, you remember when they said the year 2000 was gonna end? Like that was gonna be like kill robots, stuff like that. What they were saying 2012, now the coronavirus. It's like it all goes back into rotation. It's like they're not gonna get it right, but who cares about that? Now, this was one of my extensive interviews, and I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a picture, and I found this old picture of you and your old apprentice now too. Like, did you help him hone his craft when you first met Brahms?
Study, you know what I mean? He came around, he visited me a couple times with Silver Rings.
Yeah, I understand. Yes,
He used to roll with Silver Rings. You know what I mean? When I first met Silver Rings brung him, you know, with him. You know, so you know, that's how I initially met Bronze. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he been in the chamber, he seen me work, you know what I'm saying? He seen how I get down, you know what I'm saying? And he studied me, RZA, and I will say True Master too. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I look at Bronze as a baby. He's a, you know what I mean? He's one of our children.
yeah, because if you think about it now, like his like he learned a lot from you guys now too, and he's always very appreciative like of all of his like opportunities. Say like right now he's got a crazy album of Recognized Ali, like Season of the Seven. Like yo, that album right there, whoo, that album was fire right there. But like even with Silver Rings now too, like man, like when Wu Tang was like quote unquote, well, I guess it wasn't Wu Tang, it was Silver Rings making this album now too. Like when Braun said that he has a beat on there now too, like did you ever find out like one of your beats was used on this only Once Upon a Time in Shaolin? Like did you know if you have a beat on there? Or if
I never heard it yet. I never heard nothing.
We got bits and pieces of that from when Martin Shkreli was on his live stream. He was playing it on his live stream, but this guy was throwing around like a fucking guitar amp on his fucking live stream. I was like, what are you doing? So I don't know. That's what I like about like your career now too, because even though you didn't do much on 36 for Chamber, Enter the 36 Chambers, you witnessed something that we will never witness again. So like even with that now too, before I let you go now too, with your production, and if somebody like let's say somebody like a Universal Record.
We gotta wrap this up pretty soon.
Oh yeah, this is the last one. So a Universal Records or like one of these big labels say like, hey, we have your reels and your masters for everything that you've done. All you have to do is produce for a big name artist. Would you do that?
They hold my reels hostage?
No, but like yeah, like let's say like the ones that you lost.
I'm gonna sue them for them. I'm gonna sue first. I'm gonna call my lawyer.
That's a good answer right there. I like that answer. I'll produce for the big name artist. Yeah, fuck, sue them.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm calling my lawyer. Word up.
It's good to know that you won't just be like, I'll do it for the new artist. Fuck that, take them to court.
Yeah. You got something that belonged to me.
Yeah, somebody.
You got my property. You know what I mean?
Well, Fourth man, I do appreciate your time, man. This was supposed to be in a movie for a while, but hey, they say timing is everything. Before I let you go, is there any encouraging word that you would like to give the youth of today? That's a young producer who looks up to you.
Oh man, get off them devices, them phones and iPads and shit, and get out and live life, man. Pick up a book, go take a walk in the park, go smell the flowers and the trees, and give thanks.
Even dig for some vinyl, y'all.
Do that too, man. Vinyl is always nice. Always make the day, always make the day nice. Word up.
For the vinyl, before I let you go, is there gonna be vinyl for the algorithm?
Algorythm. I'm still debating on. It's the thing. It's like I should have did it already. But I don't want to. I don't want to do it now. I'm feeling like if I do it now, it might be kind of too late. Nobody might not be interested in it.
You'll be surprised. I just seen somebody post your algorithm CD like 2 days ago.
I'm thinking of still just going ahead and press the vinyl. But I got the remix for the Raw Digger track coming.
Oh, see, that would be a good vinyl exclusive.
And we're gonna do a video for that. So I'm thinking of pressing the vinyl just for that. Either doing the vinyl for that song or for the. I'm debating to do the vinyl for that just the single.
Yeah.
Or the whole album.
I'll tell you one to know. There's a very high demand for vinyl. So if you were to do something like that, do a limited copies, like 100, guaranteed to sell out.
Yep, that's the plan. That's the plan.
Right. Hey man, if you're waiting for that vinyl by him, yo, get ready because it may be coming soon. Fourth man, I appreciate your time, and whenever you come back, whenever you want to promote something, you're welcome back. And I hope the album of Petey Crak comes to life.
No doubt. Thanks for having me, bro. Word up. Good with you. Peace.